Welcome back. The other day I was speaking with a brilliant yogi, and he says, I have been working on my alignment, as you have suggested. I've been working on that, and I have found that my business, the flow is increasing through my business wonderfully. And I've been doing the Om Japa, I've been doing the Navi, and yet I still have this little bit of anxiety in the background of my mind when it comes to money. I said, well, you have a great job and you're making good money, but are you taking some of that money and putting it away? Are you putting it into investments which are going to continuously feed you? They're going to pay you back. For example, a dividend stock would be perfect. A very, very old dividend stock, 3M. This is not investment advice, of course. 3M, Coca-Cola, these are dividend stocks that have been around forever, and they're going to probably be around for forever, which means that they could be paying you dividends forever, which is kind of a nice thing, right? I said, are you doing anything like that? He said, oh my God, no. And here I am looking for a spiritual answer, and you gave me a concrete physical answer. I said, yes, isn't that wonderful? Sometimes we're just going way off into spirit, and then we need to have a pause and kind of come back down and regroup so we can go back up again. And it brings up this principle of always start with the physical answer. So I want to talk a little bit about that and how that can help us in our lives to find the answers that we really need. So this process I'm going to offer, it's going to make you more mentally flexible than probably everybody around you in your entire life. And that's really worthwhile, isn't it? So let's get into it. Here's a beautiful example of how this works. I often get yogis who will come to me and they will say, I'm doing the meditation and all of a sudden I am starting to get this ringing in my ears. Is it tinnitus or is it the sound which is heard in meditation, the nada? And so they're calling me on the phone, and so my first answer is, well, how old are you, first of all? Well, I'm 25, I'm 30, I'm 35. Okay, so probably not tinnitus. Probably not. Your age is telling us that the breakdown of the body which takes place in older age is not there. Therefore, it's probably not tinnitus. I'm not a doctor. I'm not making a prognosis, but I'm just saying if we were to guess, this is probably what we would come up with and what the doctor might come up with as well. Look, you're probably too young for tinnitus. So right away, that is a physical answer. The age of your body is a physical answer, isn't it? And so by starting with the physical, we weed that out. We weed out the possibility of tinnitus and we confirm probably it's going to be an internal sound of your nervous system which you are becoming subtle enough and present enough to actually hear. So how can we do this again and again? Well, let's have a process. And the process would be your spine. The process would be the chakras. And here we have again, the Bhagavad Gita says, look, if you know the tree, you know everything. Such a grand statement, isn't it? If you know the tree of life, which is your spine and your chakras and the deep brain, it's the dorsal vagal, it's the deep brain, over and over again. If you know that tree, well, if you know that, well, you know everything. You know all of the Vedas, they say. Wow, that's a lot. So let's test it out with a little bit of theory here. If I have a problem and I address it from the standpoint of the tree, of the elements of the tree, what kind of answers can I come up with? If I start with earth, and I'm going to come up with physical answers, and I'll write that down in my list. And then I look at the second chakra, that's water. What are some emotional or maybe some subconscious answers that I can come up with? Maybe I'll speak with my inner child about this. That's a subconscious answer. Maybe I'll recondition my subconscious. That's a subconscious answer. Then I come up into fire, the third chakra. How can I apply fire to this situation? So I had a wonderful yogini, and her supervisor was out to get her and saw that she was a very, very kind, sweet soul, and so immediately started taking advantage and attacking. And I said, well, you have done pujas with Kali, and you have done pujas with Shiva. You have done chants for both of these. For example, the Gayatri Mantra. That is the original light. Kali is in that original light. So I said, I want you to, when you come to work and she comes up to you, I want you to call on Kali and Shiva and bring them down into yourself. Just feel. You don't have to see it. You don't have to do this elaborate imagine. No. Just feel that communion that you already had before from the heart. Right? You felt the presence of Kali, or you felt the presence of Shiva. Call on that and bring them down into yourself and allow them to be in you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a single thing. This is just about presence. This is just about being present with them. And I said, what would happen if your supervisor started shouting at Shiva? And she goes, oh my God, she would open his spiritual eye and she would burn to a cinder. He wouldn't say or do anything. She would just burn to a cinder. I said, that's right. What would happen if she came up to Kali and started shouting? She goes, well, Ma might open her mouth and fire might come out, or she might open her eyes and they might be full of fire. That's right. So embody a little bit of that. Bring down Shiva, bring down Kali. And now the spark of life is inside of you. You're not just one thing. You're not just kind. You're not just meek. No, you're full of power and fire as well. Again, there's nothing to do. You just be some of that and let it kindle inside of you. And that will bring a strength to your presence, which might set people back. They might, whoa, what's going on? You didn't say or do anything. You didn't have to. It's just presence, you see? Start with that. Be comfortable with that. Then there's more I can train you on, okay? So if this is a problem for anybody else, please let me know. Down in the comments, I'll make more videos about how to deal with that kind of situation. Because I have a wonderful there's a wonderful Aiki plan for that. But there are going to be these times in your life when you need that spark. You're on the freeway, somebody's cutting into your lane, you might die. You have to react. You have to be full of fire. Wind is gorgeous. Wind is full of movement. Wind is the messenger in your life. And I love going on the mountaintop and communing with wind. You just stay up there and you feel the wind blowing through you. It's glorious. And so where in your life are you becoming stuck because you're not allowing the wind to blow through you? It's really beautiful. And so when you're dealing with a problem, let's say you're coming up with a creative solution in a meeting, and you'll see, oh my God, everybody's stuck. They're not willing to flow with this and come up with something more creative. Wind. And then we come all the way up to space and spaciousness, and it's becoming really, really big right now, isn't it? And now we're touching on that spiritual level. It's all is one, all is space, all is everything. But we didn't just jump up here and forget everybody else, all these Pandava brothers in the chakras. They are all our friends. They are all holy. They are all part of the family. And we don't want to jump past them and ignore them over and over again. It's okay. Maybe we have a spacious answer and it works perfectly. But when it doesn't work, if something feels off over time, maybe we're forgetting somebody and we need to go back down, reintegrate, regather some of these older elements that are a part of everyday life. And if you start approaching all of your problems from these levels, you're going to find that you have more answers. You have so many answers, so many good answers that you can come up with just by communing with those various levels. You will find that answers just flow. And you will pick one, and then maybe you'll pick another, and then maybe you start doing combinations. And so life is confronting you, and all you have is a jab. All you have is a jab, and so you just keep jabbing, and the jab's okay, but it's not working that great. But now you have combinations, so you jab and you punch, right? And you jab and you uppercut. And oh my God, this kind of combination answering to life is going to be a winning solution for you. You're going to come up with some glorious parallel answers from different levels. And now you're attacking the problem of life, whatever it might be. You're attacking it from multiple angles. You're seeing things from multiple angles. It will make you extremely mentally flexible and able to come up with things that nobody else is able to come up with. So very, very, very simple, very, very powerful. Come back to the root. Come back to the tree of life. Use those elemental answers, and you will find wonderful, glorious things start to appear. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.